Hi, it's Michelle. I'm here to do my October TBR, and I'm pretty excited about October. I love October. I love Halloween. I love just the fall and the pumpkins and the leaves and apple cider and just all of it. I love it all. I did want to mention, if you watched last month's video, I read every book that I had in my TBR except this one. Now, I did 8 books for my TBR. I ended up reading 10, but I thought that maybe September would be fine for this is kind of like a romance novel, kind of just super sizzly with a little bit of crime in there. I just could not get in the mood to pick it up. It turns out this is not a good time of year for me to read romance. I tend to want to read romance in January, February, or in the summer. So I'm going to have to put this back in my TBR stack, and hopefully I will be able to get to it maybe in January or February, because I am looking forward to reading it again. I'm just not in the mood for romance right now. I have a few books that I have already selected for October, and I think since I read 10 last month, when I do the TBR, I'm trying to set a goal. I'm trying to read all those books, or at least that many books. And I did 8 last month. I read 10 books. So I'm going to do 10 books for October, and we'll see if I can actually read all 10 books. You never know. But the ones that I have already selected to read, there's 4 of them. So then the other 6 I'll pick with my card game. I've got Shade. This is written by Chad Nichols, and it comes out October 5th. He sent this to me. It's an ARC book, and I'm actually almost done with it, but I will be finishing it today, and now it's October, so I wanted to put it in my October TBR list. So maybe I should do 11, because that's kind of cheating. I'm already almost done. Krista Davis, I think I've probably mentioned it a few times now. She is my favorite cozy mystery author. I just love her. It was her book originally that got me into cozy mysteries. I have read her Domestic Diva series multiple times from start to finish, and there's quite a few books in there now. It looks like probably 10 books, but I just love them. And I've been waiting for Diva Spices It Up, which came out like a year ago, to finally come out in paperback, and it did. So I got it, I ordered it, I had it sent here, and it arrived. It's a little bit bigger than my other. I have the mass, what's that called? Mass market paperback size for the other ones, which I was hoping that's what this was, but I didn't want to wait any longer. I'm not patient. So I decided to go ahead and get it. So here is the beautiful cover. She has got a wonderful person picked out to do her covers. They're always just absolutely gorgeous. This book is about Sophie, the main character. She has never thought about ghostwriting before, but a former actress and aspiring lifestyle guru asks her to become a ghostwriter for her celebrity cookbook. And she agrees because she needs some money. We can all relate to that, right? And she finds out that she's not the first ghostwriter that has been hired, and the last one was murdered. So Sophie, being a sleuth, she sets out to find out who killed this person. And if I were to guess, she starts worrying about her own life in the process, and is now definitely trying to get this person arrested. The new release that I had picked to order or to buy for October was The Last House on Needless Street. It just came out on the 28th of September. And I'm just going to read this to you because I don't know how to, I'm not very good at paraphrasing sometimes. In a boarded up house on a dead-end street at the edge of the wild Washington woods lives a family of 3. A teenage girl who isn't allowed outside. Not after last time. A man who drinks alone in front of his TV, trying to ignore the gaps in his memory. and a house cat who loves napping and reading the Bible. An unspeakable secret binds them together, but when a new neighbor moves in next door, what is buried out among the birch trees may come back to haunt them all. So that is why I wanted to read this book in October. It just sounds super spooky. I did order it online and I'm waiting for it to arrive. That is why I don't have a physical copy to show you. I selected my book of the month late last night. I selected Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Baart. It says, a race to the finish family drama following a mother who must confront the dark summer that changed her life forever in order to reclaim the daughter she left behind. I love books where people are forced to go back home and face their inner demons. There's just something very appealing to me about that. I think I understand because there's just this weird hesitancy and darkness over me whenever I have to go home. I don't like going back. I don't like being reminded of who I was when I was a teenager or in my early 20s. And it's not that there's not people there that I don't like or love or anything, but there's just so many bad memories. I just don't like going back home. And so I think that's part of why I find these kind of books kind of cathartic. And it says on here that this book also has a delayed coming of age story to it, which makes me just even more enticed. I don't know a whole lot else than that about the book, but it just sounded kind of haunting, which sounds perfect for October. I'm going to start with the card game, which I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you guys are too. I just think it's a very fun way to pick what to read. And it's open enough to where I don't have to necessarily, like if I don't think I want to read a book, I don't necessarily have to. I can pick something else, but I rolled an 8, a 7 of clubs, which is LGBTQ representation. I just got this book and it's missing its jacket. I don't know. I wanted to tell you what it's about. It's told over the course of a funeral and Shiva, and written with enormous wit and wisdom. It's a debut novel from a fiction writer. It's a unique meditation on the universality and particularity of family ties and grief, and a tender and biting portrait of sex, gender, and identity. It challenges us to question the nature of fulfilling relationships. 8 again. The King of Hearts. And the King of Hearts is... this is my least favorite one. Written the year you were born, or as close as you can get. I hate this. That was why I picked Chances the last time. It was the closest I could get to the year I was born. That didn't work out very well for me because I'm not in the mood for it, but it's still the closest to the year I was born. So I guess I'm putting that back in my... Does somebody want me to really read this or what? What's going on? So I guess it's going back in my TBR. But as I mentioned last month, this book is about Lucky Santangelo. She is the daughter of a very rich, powerful gangster, and if I remember correctly, it's a coming-of-age story, basically about a woman finding her independence and discovering more about her sexuality. 9. The Ace of Hearts, which is upside down. There you go. And the Ace of Hearts is a book that is under 200 pages. Under 200, huh? Okay. Oh. Well, that was easy. The first book I picked up was under 200 pages. It's Murder in the Wind by John D. MacDonald. This one has something to do with a hurricane, and somebody kills someone in a hotel or with a group of people all trying to survive the hurricane. And so then they're trying to figure out who did it while dealing with the hurricane. And that's all that I know. But this book is 192 pages long, so it is under 200 pages. And this book has a copyright of 1956. I believe this particular book was printed in the 80s, though. There's a couple different editions that were printed in the 80s, and this has a very 80s look to it to me. Six. The Three of Diamonds. A book with a blue cover. Okay. Oh, well, that one was pretty easy, actually, too. I just got this book, and I wanted to read it around Halloween. It's a story about the Wakefield family. If you're familiar with the Sweet Valley twins, they go on a family vacation, and they stay at this house that's haunted. And that's what the book is about. I'm excited to revisit it, though. 7. The 8 of Hearts. Okay. Written over 100 years ago. Okay, I was actually thinking about this book was it's a compilation of writings by Edgar Allan Poe, and these stories were written between 1827 and 1845, so that's definitely over 100 years ago. So this is the book that I was thinking about reading because I love reading Edgar Allan Poe in October. However, I don't know if I'm going to be able to commit to reading the whole thing. It is 782 pages long. I guess I could. I thought it was more pages than that. I think I could do that, right? Because I've got one that's under 200 pages. Dare I try? I'm going to try. I want to challenge myself to do stuff like this. So yes, I'm going to do it. The Nine of Clubs, which is an Asian author. Okay. An Asian author. I've got a bunch of... I've decided to pick The Bonesetter's Daughter by Amy Tan. A mother finds out that she's going to start losing her memory, and her daughter and her have a very tumultuous relationship, which I love books about mothers and daughters. I guess a lot of us do, right? There's something about family dynamics that's super appealing. In a remote mountain village where ghosts and tradition rule, Lu Ling grows up in the care of her mute, precious auntie as the family endures a curse laid upon a relative known as the Bonesetter. When headstrong Lu Ling rejects the marriage proposal of the coffin maker, a shocking series of events are set in motion, all of which lead back to Ruth and Lu Ling in modern San Francisco. The truth that Ruth learns from her mother's past will forever change her perception of family, love, and forgetfulness. That sounds really good. Sorry, I know the books and how many are on the floor keep changing, but it's because I'm going through different things as I'm looking for my next match. Okay, I rolled 9. The Queen of Diamonds, which is a nonfiction book. Nonfiction. I'm sure I've got a few here. Let's see. I've decided, since I love reading To Kill a Mockingbird in the fall, it might be kind of neat to read The Mockingbird Next Door, Life with Harper Lee, and it's by Marja Mills. What I gather reading the back is the lady that wrote this was a neighbor of Harper and her sister, and so she's telling about life growing up in the South and just not revealing anything too personal about Harper Lee, but just revealing a little bit about how they grew up and who her and her family were and that kind of stuff, which I think that might be kind of fun to read. It's either going to be like amazing or I'm going to think it falls flat, I think. Okay. I rolled an 8 again. Today is the day of rolling 8, isn't it? It's a 9 of spades. A book written by a new to you author. Well, wow, a new to me author. That's so many of the books I have. I found this book at the Dollar Tree. It's called The 20-Year Death Malniveau Prison by Ariel S. Winter, and it's a hard case crime book. And there's a series of books that she came out with, one each 10 years apart, written in the style that was popular in that decade, which is kind of cool. And this book, it says, is, let's see, the body found in the gutter in France led the police inspector to the dead man's beautiful daughter and to her hot-tempered American husband. So I don't know what this has to do with the Malniveau prison, but it's kind of a mystery what this mystery book is about, because it talks about a police inspector trying to find out who killed his daughter, but then it also, the title is a prison, so I'm sure I'll figure it out when I read it. But okay, I'm going to do one more. I've got 11 books to read, but I really don't think I'm going to read that Jackie Collins one because I don't want to right now, even though I rolled it. Since I have decided I really don't think I'm actually going to read the Jackie Collins book, because I know I'm kind of breaking my rules here, but that's the closest one to the year I was born. I can't change that right now unless I just go out and specifically buy a book that was in the year I was born. I'm trying to slow down on the book buying. So I'm just going to pick a book that I really want to read. And I hope you don't mind that I'm doing that. But the one that I really want to read, I got recently at my local used bookstore. And it's called My Favorite Horror Story. And this is a compilation of short stories by famous horror authors. And I thought that just sounds too fun. It's got Edgar Allan Poe, Stephen King, Joyce Carol Oates. I think this is going to be a great book to get me in the Halloween spirit. So that's it. Those are the books that I plan on reading in October. I will be doing another mid-month check-in and then a month-end wrap-up video. I definitely think I like splitting it into 2 videos, especially now that I'm reading more books. It would take me an hour to do it in one video with as talkative as I am. Let me know what you plan on reading in October. I want to know. And especially if you're reading spooky Halloween books. I want to know what they are because I want to put them on my TBR for November or next year. I definitely want to hear all about it though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Happy reading. Bye.